this time. It's the same thing, but with the current review in week
I have a current section now. Every
2.
week I'll improve at least one thing.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Maybe we'll have something new.
Maybe next week I'll actually have music that's uh, audible.
Yeah, I need to mute the stream. Okay. We are live, right?
Yeah. Oh, give it a minute or two and let people filter in. Since I did not start prior to on time.
Taco Bell line.
Yes, Dex. See, this is where I could try having like music on, but I don't have a good playlist to have on.
You don't have access to the Lego playlist?
Oh, that is a playlist I could just have up.
Lego playlist is good.
That is a good playlist. I should consider putting that one up. It's like either I put that up or I put Sunshine music up, but then I don't know. So, oh well. I'll get there by next week, maybe.
Maybe. I like the baby. How many matches are you playing this week?
I'm playing just one in week 3. I just bumped my mic, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm only playing one match this week. I wasn't even like. I was thinking about not playing week 3, but then I was like, I can fit one in. I'm kind of busy this weekend, but I should be okay to play my one match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this week I will not play anymore.
No?
No, because Friday I go out of the city to a competition. Yeah,
I see.
I can't play bingo out.
Yeah, there's like noticeably less matches in week 3. Though technically this week 2 match from JJRSW is playing in week 3, so I guess it's like not that too many less, but it feels like there's a lot more people playing like 2 matches this week, like Peaches, Mason, Despin,
No, but also like uh,
Dingaman.
this week felt most as a break week for most of the players.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a break week next week then instead, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, we've been live for 5 minutes. We can get the show on the road. People will filter in, I guess. Maybe if not, they can watch the VOD. So, helicopter going above my apartment. So, welcome everyone to week 2 of the Inside Line Bingo Talk Show with Deathline and Yado. I'm Deathline.
Woo!
I have Yado with me here.
Hello.
So yeah, should be pretty straightforward. Same kind of thing from last week. We're going to be starting off with just a overview of all the matches played in week 2 of the Super Mario Sunshine Being a League 1v1 lockout season 4, some combination of that. We're going to be skipping a couple matches here and there. We'll be highlighting those towards the end of the review section. So we're going to be starting off with Darkman versus Tanuki Mario in Row Control, which ended as a 3-0 victory in Darkman's favor. And you can kind of just see the board state tells the story here.
Also, this match show like the consistency of Darwin. That is, I think he's a player that is not pretty fast, but in comparison to other players, but can have like consistent routes in general.
I think Darkman
Are pretty
has
solid.
a low 130s time now in any percent, and they're getting better. But yeah, Tanuki Mario only getting 3 clicks on this card, getting 4 Pianta Shines. They were the first click in the match, so it's pretty good. 23 Rico, 17 M Graffiti, so this is a good counter click here with this row 1 setup. These are like the 2 best goals in row 1, 5 secrets, 80 total, and really had a really long commitment.
Yeah. And then Dharma like only ignore that rule.
Wow. Row 1, 2, and 3 are not ideal. Bianco kind of here in row 3, but like that's still annoying. Like row 4 and row 5 are definitely the best rows. 3 hiddens, 23 Rico, gold birds, 9 Eps, 3 secrets, 3 free ladies, pin a hidden, 3 rockets. It's like all really nice together. 3 secrets, 3 hiddens, pin a hidden, 9 episodes. Bianco hidden got clicked. And then from there, Darkman just kind of speed bullied a little bit, I would say, to the rest of the goals here. So, congratulations to Darkman on their victory there. Next up, we have MD Mason 85 versus Dex in draft. Now, this match ended in a 13-9 victory for Dex, and this match was kind of weird just from the get-go. You can see here, pink is Mason's draft, and blue is Dex's draft, or navy. So Mason drafting, Bianca hidden, 6 pipes, Pianta damageless, pin hidden, 5 enemies. And there's an extraneous lily pad dot on there for some reason. Dex drafting 17 M graffitis, 5 bluebirds, 4 secrets, Bianca 4 harvest, and Rika 3 harvest. And both Blake and I, like, kind of during the start of this match, were like, drafting both Bianca 4 harvest and Rika 3 harvest seems like kind of weird. But then again, Mason also like immediately drafted Bianca hidden on the card, so it was just like the draft section of this match just kind of went weirdly because they like ended up just splitting this like Bianco
Like the goals.
like Rico kind of thing. And like the whole time we're just like, man, Pinna's really good on this card. You have lily pad, no pipe clips, Pinna Shadow Mario, Pinna 5 from the back cover list, 2 secrets 1 level, birds, that kind of stuff. Just like it's really good mid-game value. And we thought Mason was a little bit better set up with this Pianta into Pinna play. Pinna hidden got drafted, by the way. And then Dex was just gonna have to like kind of play around this awkwardly.
I remember of the match like how Mason was like ahead, and Mason didn't do like Pianta 3 damage less at the beginning.
Yeah, Dex hovered in Rico 3 hoverless and then had to do it again. Mason forgot to do Pianta damageless
Yes.
the first time they visited Pianta 3, so that was a thing. And then Mason kind of just like did the setup for like 17 M graffitis, 5 birds, just like all this kind of like slow, like low setup that Dex was also doing, but just like didn't have quite enough progress to all of it, which I mean ultimately didn't end up mattering since Dex clicking 5 bluebirds and I believe 17 M graffitis within the draft period, Mason getting 5 enemy blues. But yeah, Mason did like all the setup with Bianco and Rico and Pianta, and then just like didn't end up having any clicks out of it, unfortunately. I
Remember,
believe.
like this was one of the first match with lore.
Yep, I think Mason was
Uh,
ahead by quite a bit in Pinna, but hit the
yes,
lore cutscene, the first one at least.
this week was the week of the lore.
Yeah, for the first like 6 matches, like 4 players at least hit lore, so that's kind of crazy. So that lore cutscene put these players basically even in Pinna here.
Yeah.
Um, Ignore some of these clicks. These clicks are not real because bored. But what ended up
Right.
happening? So ignore the 6 pipes. Piotr damage those click. That's wrong. Um, Mason ended up getting Pinna hidden. That was true. Dex did end up getting 4 secrets plus 2 secrets 1 level by doing EYG, while Mason opted to do Pinna 5 from the back hoverless. And then they end up splitting Lily Pad and Pinna Shadow Mario in that direction, which Dex was ahead to Pinna Shadow Mario um, by a little bit, but opted to go for Lily Pad. Ended up getting 40 totals at some point in that escapade of things happening. Um, and then Win got Bianco hidden from Mason. Mason ended up going getting both gold birds, and then 2 from 5. We had a Piana 3 damageless race somewhere right here at this 50-minute mark. This race was so close. It was super close, and Dex ended up winning it because of momentum tree rats in damageless.
Oh yeah.
Mason taking the river. Both players were picking up blues, and it was just like neck and neck. But Dex ended up winning by like 2 seconds to that goal. So that like super crushed Mason's like hopes and dreams because Mason was playing from behind for quite a bit of this match, and then Mason went off to go get 6 pipes, while Dex finished out 6 Rico. Or no, Dex was off playing Jolt 100, so Mason finished 6 Rico because Dex could have easily been doing that. And then Dex finally went back for Piano Shadow Mario and 65 totals to end the match. But yeah, just kind of a weird draft from both players, and then some gameplay happening in Pinna that ended up leading Dex to victory here. Good match, though, overall.
Mhm. No, it was a pretty solid match. That was pretty good.
Next in the long line of invasion matches, we have Bread Ghost versus Elias, which Bread Ghost ended up taking as a 13-8 victory. I did not get to see most of this match. Yato, you commentated it, so I'm sure you have a lot of insight here.
Yeah. Okay. What I remember for the match was like in the start of the invasion. They both have a crazy start.
I did see the Pianta whenever entry not happening for
Yeah.
a minute straight.
Uh, at the beginning, like both start to Pianta, so I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a 16 Pianta look on race," but both keep falling and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Red Ghost take the decision to being in Pianta, but uh, Aleos take the decision to take like some blues and then go Bianco.
Mm.
So the first click was Red Ghost in Pianta 3 with
Man,
16 Pianta blues.
I don't like any of these. I mean, row one's fine as a base, I guess, but like, gross. Don't like
Yeah,
Serena. But like, column one is not good either.
yeah,
Row
that's the problem.
five is
Like
row five is really bad actually.
column, column 1 is not good. Column row 5 is like, eh?
You have to like
like
commit Pianta at some
yeah,
point. I guess you could ignore 2 Piantissimas and Pianta Shine and then just play 3 out of your base, but that's still kind of annoying.
yeah, and column 5 is pretty annoying too. Like you have both gold bursts, 4 hidden shines, 70 totals,
Oh, 5 bosses,
and
yeah, that's a lot
5
of
bosses at
that's
the
a lot
end.
of
So yeah,
progress.
no.
Yeah, I guess row ones.
I think Red Ghost took the. I like the base of Red Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I think was the best base because you can like invade, and that actually happened. Like Red did the invasion trick, and take like 5 NPC, then 22 lives, and then one Pianta Hidden. So yeah.
So yeah, we can see that end graffitis, NPC blues, 22 lives, beyond hidden, just by basically playing Pianta with some Rico in there.
Yes.
Elias notably doing turbo with 2 gelato hiddens and 5 linked pairs. See,
Yeah,
bread,
that was a
bread click,
little weird.
bread clicking 17 M graffitis at the 30-minute mark. I guess if it like, how do you get to M graffitis though from row 5?
What do you mean?
I guess you rush turbo and Bianco with linked pairs into NPC blues and M graffitis. How do you click 17 M graffitis from row 5 though? I don't see that. Interesting.
Ah, no, no, there's no way. There's no way.
There's no way, right?
No, no, no. There is too much. In the row 4 was too crazy to invade,
7 bluebirds and
and
70 totals is a pain. Getting 22
yeah,
lives out of the way early is nice. Like, even if you lose 5 linked and pin ahead, and these other 2 goals suck.
and also like 5 link bloopers. The bloopers are
Mm-hmm.
like not that good because doesn't connect with much stuff.
5 links really is just a goal here to click. It doesn't do anything for you. There's like, I mean, 40
Yeah,
totals, I guess, but how do you get across row 3 as call or oh my god, row 3. That's so bad. I didn't even realize how bad
mhm.
that was. Oh, good lord.
Yeah. Row 3 was like a good wall, a big wall in the middle. But
4
with the
hidden.
start of Bread Ghost, that made Bread Ghost being like ahead from a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he could do 6 shots from 2 wars. With the Sirena play with 6 hiddens was pretty good.
Yeah, latest taking hiddens and red coins, which makes sense. You can't really both take red coins and totals, so I guess I would take red coins over totals at this
Mhm.
point. Um,
I already have like 2 hiddens with Gelato hidden, so
yeah, and
that's
then Pinna hidden is your third, so then you just need to pick up, Bianco hidden or Rico hidden or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Serena hidden to 40 totals, end up winning both Goldbirds. Elias winning 5 bosses, 7 bluebirds, and then Bread probably just clicks a lot of stuff from there. 6 from 2, 6
Yes,
hiddens,
six
Serena
hiddens
4
and Sirena
hidden,
4.
26, 70 totals.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense based on just the rows and kind of the setup here that I'm seeing. Just row 5.
Invasion.
Row 5 does not have a good way to get through row
Mm-hmm.
3 other than 4 hiddens, it feels like.
Yes.
Unless you like commit really hard to this Serena play. Serena 4 hidden. You break across with 3 red coins, and then you have Serena 4 hidden as your 1 hidden shine to attack row 1, but that doesn't seem that good. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
how.
and also was a difficult card, honestly. I remember this. I'm competitive with Jeff, and I remember having a conversation with him that saying like this card was weird.
Yeah, kind of
Was
a
a little
weird
weird.
card. Which, speaking of weird cards, coming up next we have me versus you in Invasion, which ended up being a 13-8 victory for me. This card sucked so bad.
Yeah,
This
this card
card
was.
was so unfun to play for the first like 40 minutes of the match. None of the goals, none of the starting goals are good on this card. They're so bad.
Yeah,
So,
like the first goal was Pianta 3, and that's it. Uh, that was the only fast goal you can do. Also,
um,
like triple trades in case you want that, but
yeah, so
yeah.
we both went for Pion 3 damage list. I ended up speedballing it once again with a momentum spin jump strat versus
Mm-hmm.
River Gang, and I barely ended up winning this. Um, so Yato now just cries and is stuck in column 5, which isn't good. It's not
Yeah,
bad,
it's not good,
but you don't
but
really want to
I
play out of
wasn't that.
this.
Yeah, I think the current five wasn't that terrible doing the Pianta 3 start.
Mm-hmm.
If I started like somewhere else, I will be crying. But I think starting con Pianta 3 is not that bad. Because like that I had like access on 9 NPCs
Yeah.
and
After
all the Pianta and the hidden stuff.
after this
Uh,
damageless click, we didn't click anything for the next 20 minutes. So,
yeah,
9 NPCs with Pianta, Deep Pianta, Pianta hidden, two hidden Red Tartarus with, I
Bianco
believe,
Hayden.
Bianco hidden and Pianta hidden, and then Bianco hidden.
Yes.
Um, you unfortunately had a couple of deaths there in Pianta 5,
Yeah,
which
I
cost you some
died
time.
2 times. Yeah.
And
And
then,
the one of the end takes so much time. And
yeah.
also I had lore. Woo!
Woo, lore. So you might be wondering, like, why the hell did I not click Bianco hidden? It's because I committed to this stupid Serena play with. So I got 3 blue trade shines to defend that, just in case Yato was picking up blues. But then I had this series of clicks with Serena 4 hidden shine, 3 boss shines, 50 totals, and 4
Mhm.
Serena shines because I really thought Serena was like the only good way of getting across on this board from either side. So I immediately just like rushed Serena 4 hidden at the start of the match after Piano 3 damage list.
Mhm.
um, well, okay, so I did Bianca 2, and then I went to do this setup, and then to Rico to get my 50 totals and my third boss because I was like greeting 3 bosses really hard because I didn't know like what you were gonna do. I kind of expected you to do this deep piano play and not go for Serena, but I was like I gotta play Serena in case Yato goes for it because otherwise I am crying. Plus, it also gets me good secrets set up, so I really liked that.
Mhm.
From there, Yato went do 5 bluebirds and then hit some lore. I went and got
Lore.
5 secrets. Most notably, I never did Bianco 3, so I had Rico 4, Serena 2 and 4, Gelato 1, and Pinna 2. And then from there, I was like, okay, I gotta click one from each because Yato. I at this point I also had 18 surrounded, mind you. So and I knew at this point you just did not care about that goal. So I'm like, I'm never gonna click that until I have to. So one from each was the next best goal on this
Mhm.
card, in my opinion, at least to play. So I went and got that, which like kind of limited your options now for crossing with hundreds.
Yeah. Here, okay. Here at this point of the before the right to judges,
Mm-hmm.
my only option like to win was taking 5 from 3 with 100 shine in a secret.
Mm-hmm.
That like that was the only option I saw because the 5 from 3 was some goals that did you actually want.
Yeah, that was like the
So
next best goal in column 2 at that
yeah.
point. After I got 7 enemy blues, at I don't even know when I clicked that, but I got that at some point. When did I get that? Oh, I got that right before 5 secrets. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. I saw that my only win con was taking 5 from 3
Mm-hmm.
from you, and trying to playing with that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't.
Yeah. So Red Yoshi 2 Worlds had 5 hiddens after that point, and then came the 5 from 3. Oh, he also clicked 7 elixir. All this pinna stuff that you're clicking off at the
No,
last second.
because I did the no, I needed the 7 links.
Oh yeah,
I
you need
finished the
that.
7 link on my Bianco handle. I was doing Bianco handle. I did the mill, and then you click 5 from 3, and then I was crying,
Yeah, 5 from
and
3,
then I
18 Serena, 200 coins, and then I just finished with 70 totals. I could have also done 6 Rico. I was shying away from that, but so you could not click 70 totals. So I was
mm-hmm.
like 4 away, so I was like, that's just safer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after I did one from each, I went back to Pianta, did Pianta 4, and then did Pianta 500s, and then went to Rico to do Rico hundreds. I meant to do it in episode 4 just in case I needed to like click 100 coins trying in a secret, but I ended up just like not paying attention and clicked episode 3, and I was like, all right, whatever, it's a faster 100
Mm-hmm.
for my 5 from 3 at that point. So This card is hard though. I don't know how you play this.
Ah, nah.
Really, like even with you not dying and hitting the lore stuff,
Hmm.
I feel like I would have been okay.
No,
I
I was in a difficult position. I was definitely in a difficult position because you
just
had more access to Delfino Turbo, probably.
yeah, I just needed two. I needed two pinna shines, which you
Hmm.
had those pinna shines, but you couldn't. You like literally could not click Delfino Turbo at this point.
No, yeah, at that point, it was difficult for me to win because I didn't have like any progress on Rico, any progress on Sirena, and I had to win 5 from 3, 100 in a secret, 200s, and 4 gelato at the same time.
Yeah, so I still don't agree with my Deep Serena play, but I still think it ended up winning me this match just because of this like kind of 5 from 3 18 Serena like
Hmm.
grip that I had for a long time.
Yes.
So bad card. We only play bad cards.
Yeah, I think that is my destiny. Play the weirdest card with the weirdest route ever.
So we'll be coming back to Libra Juka. Next up, we have Tober versus Dex in Invasion. This was a match. It was kind of a weird match. Dex did Bianca for Hoverless, while Tober did Bianca Hundreds. So they started on their side of the card that they wanted to start on. And then this whole time, Sid and I were just like, man, Dex is in such a bad position because he clicked boss rematch instead of 17M graffitis, and now Tober can just rush that, and there's no good column 2 clicks anymore. And then, all these clicks are coming out. Tober is playing brown here. Dex is navy. So it was
Hmm.
cursed columns too, by the way. Um,
It's amazing how the next click of Dex. Okay, the next click on column. What is the column? The next click on column 2 of Dex is amazing.
so like this point, it's 6-3, and it looks like omega bad for Dex, but like Tober has like no progress to anything, unfortunately. So Dex gets pinna hidden, 18 lives, which like super locks down column 4 for being passable at this point.
Yeah.
12 Noki is the next column 2 click, which is just insane. Uh, ends up going back for pinna 5 from the back coverless. 2 secrets, 1 level. You just see all these Dex clicks coming out. And then it's like, oh, this is actually a really close match. So we're getting 3 rockets, 4 uniques as well, and then Dex finishing out 26 shines, 13 Delfinos, and then it was a bit of a 100 coins race, with Dex kind of scaring us in Rico 100s. with going inside of the maze and then having like almost 80 coins pre blooper. And then
Wow.
yeah, ended up going back to pin 100s, and it was a little bit of a pin 100s race, which I think Tobero was actually ahead slightly, but then like the Yoshi prog, or like Yoshi for Dex was like working really well, which it didn't work for Tober. So
Hmm.
Dex ended up claiming out 60 total blues and then 300s and riding Yoshi in 2 worlds. Um,
Dex is a speed bully, you know?
yeah, Dex kind of, I don't know, speed bully, but definitely just like didn't click the goals that Tober thought they were gonna click. And like conversely, because of that, I also thought that like Dex was clicking all the wrong goals and was just gonna get like ultra bullied for it late game, but just like it just worked out in Dex's
Hmm.
favor somehow. So
Yeah.
kind of cool match to watch back if you ignore the commentary going, man, Dex is gonna lose. After that, Cider Williams Popo, a 3-1 for Popo in row control. This match was really interesting for the first half of it because you have this 2 gelato hit-ins, Turbo and Wiggler, with 2 Piantissimo and both bells in row 2. So if you just like
Wow.
hard rush gelato, you get this 1 row for free basically if you can just win it out, like outright. And that's kind of what Sid did. 2 gelato hit-ins, which then Popo didn't enter Gelato 1 Reds because they were behind slightly because they opened Rico, and they kind of knew because of that. So they were ahead in Gelato 2, had some bad Plungello RNG, and then it became like a little bit more even in Wiggler. Messed up Wiggler cycle, so Sid ended up beating Popo to Wiggler, but both of them were delaying the goal.
Oh.
And then Popo finally clicks it a little bit before, or a little bit after the 4 Gelato Shines click here.
It's amazing how the For Gelato Shines click is first, and then you can see like the reaction of
Yeah.
Wiggler. I need to click
So
Wiggler.
so this kind of became sad for Sid because then they had to commit to Turbo and 2 Piantissimos, which Sid ended up going off to do some Bianco setup, which I thought was really good for Secrets progress and Bianco Shines, Bianco for Harvest. And then, ended up going to Penna, doing Penna Hidden. Popo skipped that, went all the way to Penna 5 from the back coverless. Win got Turbo in Gelato 4, had both bells with Yoshi now. Got 11 Delfinos, which this was like the next closest race. Sid was at like 8 or so when that happened, so Sid was a little bit sad. And then 16 Penna Blues got clicked, with Popo had 15 out of Penna 5 from the back coverless, so Popo had to like go back for that. At this point, Sid is just like kind of sad and doesn't mind anymore, so just started doing Sarna hundreds, went off and did Nogi hundreds, got row 5. Popo did 2 hit-ins 1 level from Penna, 3 Fruit Ladies Rats with that, and then 6 from 2 from Sid with a episode 4 in Gelato, plus Penna, I believe. Which Popo actually had this goal first with Delfino, but neither of them remembered Delfino's a world. And then 50 tolls from Popo. So, yeah, this row 2, man, I just, it's right there. It's that row is really important, I think. And it's just like losing
What's
Wiggler.
the Gelato goals?
Yeah, like losing Wiggler, or just like even clicking Wiggler, or just 1 turbo makes like the last goal pain, because then you have to suffer through 4 Penna Shines, or
Yes.
do infinites, and then like or do Piantissimos, which is like then you got to do Sandberg, which sucks. So yeah, kind of an interesting
But
card altogether,
yeah,
because
I like how Sid won the row 5.
yes, this was Sid's row forever from the
That was a
very
decision. It was a good decision.
yes. And Sid was also only 1 shine. Like, Sid literally had Bianca for Harvest open. Just, it never happened. So, if Sid clicks Wiggler Shine, this could have been a different game here, but not quite.
Stuff that can happen.
Yeah, we're highlighting 3 matches this week, so come back to that one. Next up, we have Despin versus me in draft, which some miracle later, I somehow take this 12-7. Here's our draft, which Despin drafting 11 Delfino, boss rematch, 5 Bianco, 2 Gelato Hiddens, 16 Penna. I drafted 15 Bianco, Rico Hidden, 7 enemies, Turbo, and 45 totals. I had
was good. I think.
no game plan other than just do Deep Bianco and pray Despin didn't do Deep Bianco on this card, and I kind of got away with that. I took a death in Bianco 6 Poison Water because I was dropping inputs, which was my fault, kind of. Despin took a death in Bianco 3 and 2 in Gelato 1 Red, so we both kind of weren't playing at our complete best, but right after this 15 Bianco click, I ended up dying in the water, so then I went off to go set up Rico for Rico Hidden. I needed my enemies, and I wanted 20 from 2 to set up 45 totals. Because I was still like wanting Bianca Shadow Mario ultimately, but I knew Despin couldn't click Bianca Shadow Mario without having clicked Bianca 5 Bianca first, since episode 6 would be your 5th Bianca shine no matter what by then.
Genius.
So Despin went and did 2 Gelato Hiddens into 11 Delfino into 16 Penna, while I finished up 45 totals and 20 from 2, which I ended up having to unclick because I couldn't count in Bianco. Got my turbo, got episode 6. 16 pinna got clicked first. Ignore that. And then re-clicked 20 from 2. Clicked 5 Bianco just so I could have it after the 16 pinna click. Deleted just a little bit. And then I was delaying MrYhatoh Mario for 15 minutes, I think, from this point on. I delayed it for a really long time.
Yeah. Your Byakusha Mario clicks, so it was very late of the game.
I think I've been told it was a good delay, but I also think it was kind of greedy. But the thing is, I thought about it after the fact because I went to Gelato from Deep Bianca. From Deep Bianca, I went to Gelato, and I started setting up for Gelato, Sandbird, that kind of stuff with doing Wiggler as one of my uniques in case Despin for some reason didn't do uniques after already having what I assumed was either 2 or 3, and Despin went to do uniques at that point, which the click is not showing on the screen properly.
There.
Yeah, that was way before Rico Hidden got clicked, mind you. This did not get clicked then because draft doesn't work on this board. So when things get unclicked, it highlights them on SMS Bingo. But I went to Gelato, did 7 enemies. Despin was doing 7 link pairs and then 4 uniques, which at that point I went back and did Rico Hidden because I was worried that Despin was going to set up Rico with Rico Hidden in 3 from 4 progress. If Despin didn't do 4 uniques and tried to steal MrYhatoh Mario, I think I could have done Wiggler plus Manta.
Yeah, you will be fine.
And then I would also have Serena set up a little bit. So.
No, you will be fine.
And then once Despin also clicked 4 uniques, at that point I knew Despin probably just didn't care about MrYhatoh Mario, so I just deleted even more. Now, from this point, Despin ended up ultimately committing Serena a little bit too long while I set up into Noki while trading in, and then I clicked MrYhatoh Mario with my 12 Noki Blues. Did Delfino Shines for 6 from 2 and 26, while Despin did 3 from 4 progress. Went back to Pinna to go get that, Yoshi. Ended up having Lily Pad, no pipe clips, but was delaying it at the end. And then I went back to Gelato to go claim that out. And then ended up only getting 12 clicks because Despin FF at the end, but I was only 10 blues away from 75 totals. But I was also in episode 4, so I had Sandbirds in my pocket. But Despin went to Gelato and was starting to do Gelato hundreds. But
at the same time, and both finishing.
Yeah, we both finished in the tree.
In the tree, like, oh yeah, here we can relax.
I can actually do this. Hold on. Where is the...
Hold on.
Here we go.
I'm done, lol.
Yeah, look at it. They're both sitting in the tree.
Amazing.
Look at this. This is beautiful right here.
2
gamers sitting in a tree.
No way.
Looking at.
This is a moment.
I'm done, lol.
In SMS.
So, yeah, that was the end of the match right then and there.
How 2 players can finish at the same place. Amazing.
So, that was that match. I somehow won.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
A classic from the I'm not the Div 2 champ.
I should not have been the Div 2 champ from Season 3. Lucked out. Next up, we have Jukatox versus Dingamon in Draft. This ended up being a 12-11, which Dingamon was favored to both of the last goals. I didn't get to watch too much of this either. Wasn't paying attention too hard. You can see the draft. 40 totals, 3 blue trades, Piana, 15 Bianca blues, Piana hundreds. Very solid draft. Purple taking 8 Serena, 3 secrets, 18 Serena, 5 Ravens, 20 Bianco.
Dingamon was the purple?
Jukatox was purple, and Dingamon was red here on this board, at least. This was the... this was the Serena IW at the start. So, Juka basically played Serena really hard at the beginning, while Dingamon just like...
She got every goal of Serena.
Yep, 3 secrets, Serena 4 hidden. had like the NPCs deep, had pipes deep.
First. And then she got pipes. I think next. Or
20.
soon team.
20 Bianca blues. Dingman's just setting up like really hard with these blues because blues are actually pretty good on this card overall, all things considered. For totals, trades, Bianca, Pianta, 75 totals, 13 Delfino shines with trades. So Digimon goes to Pinna. Juka has 8 from 1 now from Serena here. 9 pipes.
It's amazing that Ace from Sirena happened. I think it's a beautiful moment.
Juka ended up winning 4 uniques with this deep play of Serena, mostly because Digimon also just like didn't really mind it with starting Pianta and Hiddens. Juka ended up winning 5 secrets. Now Digimon does Pianta 100 coin shine. Juka getting Red Yoshi into your worlds, and I believe Juka barely winning out a Pin 100s race that she was behind to. And then it was like 10-7 here. Juka's in like a winning position, but like the remaining goals on the board just like are really hard to play for. Just 2 Delfinos, Delfino Rocket, lives, Noki, blues. It's just like it was really weird, and then Juka ended up like splitting Delfino with the lives, which allowed Dingamon to speed up and get the Delfino goals, and then also Rocket, and then made a great call to go snag lives from Juka while Juka was doing 20 Bianco blues, I believe.
What's a difficult position from Yuga? Thinking that did Asians from Sirena. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and then
That Sirena is pretty slow, so.
yeah, Dingamon ended up finishing 16 Nokis, and then was like a shine ahead in Noki when Juka got bopped by a Gumi or something and fell all the way down, and then just understandably FF at that point since they were behind the blues and behind a. Well, they were like tied to blues or like slightly ahead, but they were behind the 2 Piantissimo shines, so they also didn't have the other one in Pianta, so it was going to be just nigh impossible at that point. So
Yeah.
a very close match that Dingmon ended up closing out nicely. Next up, we have Game Stable versus Derp. This was probably the, I guess like the biggest blowout of the week, just because Invasion.
Yeah.
All you really need to see is column 1 being
And
utter garbage, and
Yes.
column 5 having Bianca 4 hoverless, and it was like, all right, we race this, and whoever loses gets stuck in column 1 and cries. So Game knew that, and Game was the slower player here, so Game tried to do 8 Serena to force Rose, which would have won. However, Game had some unfortunate Serena whenever attempts and became too far behind and lost the race. So Derp ended up clicking Bianca for Harvest first, which pit Game in column 1, and then at that point it's just a cry because you're stuck in Serena, you're losing Serena value. You see all of these clicks. It's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 0 at this point.
And not only like the fact that it's 7-0, that Game starting on Sirena and having the 2 goals of Sirena taken away from him. Yeah, no good. That is no good.
So, Game got 15 M graffitis, 5 NPCs. Was in a good position because they were like, they had 2 rocket unlocks, by the way. So they were delaying that, and they were in Gelato, and then unfortunately just exited area out of Gelato because of the Serena clicks and got worried about NPCs, which ultimately was not the correct call. So lost the next best column 3 click from there, which you have Pianta hidden, 8 Delfino, and 1 Ep 8. And then, yeah, it's just a just downhill from there. 4 from 2, 2 rockets. Derp gets to click literally whatever they want. It does not matter. And then ultimately set up for a 14-6 match. And with this 5-3, 2-2-1, Derp got a scoregami in Invasion for those of you that are interested in that. So, woo, scoregami. But yeah, kind of just one of those matches in Invasion that just gets unfortunate when you get stuck in a really bad starting base.
Yeah. I think the strat of the game is a good strat.
Yeah, actually, I want to like look at that because rows are like pretty even, right? You have 8 Serena, 18 Serena, Gelato Blues. Yeah, it gets stuck with 80 totals, but oh well. And then you have row 5, you know, M Graffitis, Rockets, 40 totals, Pinna Hidden. But then like row 4 kind of sucks to cross unless you do hundreds early. Row 2 kind of sucks to cross unless you're committing Serena with 4 from 2 early and Bianca 4 hoverless early. So that, and then like you have like row 3, which like Serena 4 NPCs is better for row 1. You have 3 secrets, which is like kind of can go either way now. 2 secrets, 1 level. It's better for row 1. 5 from 3 is better for row 1. So it's kind of a nice attempt at forcing rows, and it would have been a nice match if we got rows, but we did not. So you hate to see it sometimes.
Page.
Google Cheese versus Earthside in row control, 3-0 victory for GC. Kind of just a straight things happening, things were getting clicked. Didn't get to see too much of this match either, but I was kind of skimming it and just kind of looked like GC had a better game plan overall. Here, just Rico to Penna, and then a little bit of hundreds in here and there.
Google Cheese is getting like I don't know the actual score of Google Cheese. That has to be like, wait, I can see it. Google Cheese is right now 2 wins out of 4, and all the matches have a solid plan. It was a good plan to play and play the card.
Yeah, Earthside just kind of went with Bianca here, and then ended up just kind of like committing bosses and episodes towards the end. Kind of just didn't ultimately have a game plan it kind of looked like, which they are a newer player, so it's kind of understandable. Road control is really hard to route when you're new to it, so.
Not only when you're new.
Yeah, even when you're experienced, again, it can be difficult to route road control properly, so. Overall, GC had a nice route here. Ended up winning 3 reds, which I think Earthside was at 2, which they could have ended up taking, but I believe GC was well more set up for 2 from 5 at any rate as well. So then Abo versus Popo, the match that could have happened but did not. Right now, I don't know what the details are. It's currently listed as an FF from Abo, with Popo taking the victory and the points. I don't know if that will stand or if it will not, but that is how that match went. So unfortunate.
Yes.
Now we can go back and talk about the. Also, yes, JJSRL versus Rasmus RSW was going to happen. They are rescheduling to week 3. They will be playing at some point during this week 3 setup.
Yes.
Now I want to go back and talk about the
3 highlighted matches.
Reviewing week 2 highlight matches, I guess.
Whoa! Animation of writing. Wow. Amazing.
Transform. No. Yes. Why are you not working? It's because you're locked. Boom.
Boom.
Editing.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to be looking at is Blaze versus Google Cheese and Invasion, which was Blaze's first tournament match in the league. And they took it victory 13-12. This match was really interesting to watch for Invasion. Blaze rushing 18 lives, which was interesting, but row 1 wasn't too bad either. Kind of annoying though, because you like, it wasn't like annoying, but it was just like kind of weird to set up with row 1 into this.
But I think like Google Cheese wasn't really sad after the 18 lives. In fact, the next click. Okay, this is the fun fact. The next click is.
These clicks all happened at the same time, by the way.
At the same time, yeah, in the minute 30, because they played the invasion so interesting to see, because it was only one click, they got in goals but never click, and then boom, the board explode.
So GC getting 5 enemy, 3 hidden, 2 hiddens, 1 level. Blaze having 18 lives, 2 circuits, 1 level. Bianca 5 Bianca and 1 turbo.
So at this point, Blaze did like deep Bianco play.
Yeah, the deep Bianco, where GC kind of set up with everything else. Blaze ended up going and doing Serena 100 with a route in Serena 100. That was a very old route, but it was kind of cool to see. GC questionably did unique bosses here, where it was really interesting because it had this like 5 linked pairs into 23 Rico into 17 graffitis, and I was into 40 totals. That was like a really good chain of goals that like was just sitting on the board after like this section of clicks, and then ultimately Blaze got most of that value, as you can see here. 40 totals, pin 5 from the back cover list, 17 graffitis, while your Google Cheese gets 5 links, 5 hiddens, and Lily Pad no pipe clips.
And then Blaze took 23 Rico Blues, while Google Cheese was doing level progression stuff.
6 from 2, both Goldbirds. So this is like a really interesting board state to be in at this point. And then 60 totals. So coming down to the wire here, Google Cheese gets 9 pipes, and that kind of like scares Blaze off from doing this deep Pianta play for the win, and ended up like they were racing like Delfino for a little bit here. So GC getting Delfino Rocket, Blaze getting 9 Delfino Shines and 13 Delfino Shines with blue trades, and then like because of the 9 pipes click, that kind of scared Blaze into going into Gelato, which GC was ahead to. But unfortunately, GC clicked 4 Gelato Shines on contact, and Blaze had built up enough of a lead in Pianta to take away the victory.
Yeah, I remember Google Cheese didn't have like any Pianta progress, I think, or
Did
only
not have
Pianta
any.
1.
Did not have a
Okay,
single shine in Pianta.
Yeah, and Blaze has 3.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened.
So, I think it was a very interesting invasion card and a very interesting match from players that are still relatively fresh to Bingo, kind of learning the formats and how to play them. Both of them kind of ignored this blue setup for a little too long, and then Blaze kind of took control of the middle of the board.
Also, what happened to Blaze, you remember? At the end of the match, that why is the first match of Blaze was like a little nervous, especially at the end, and we saw like the decision was like, I remember seeing Mario turning around, like thinking, "Oh, where I go now?"
So a really good match overall from both competitors, and a good victory for Blaze in their first tournament match ever. So congrats to them. Next up, we also have, which one is the next one? Schmidt versus Blaze. So Blaze being in 2 highlight matches of the week. This one was a 3-1 victory for Schmidt in Bro Control. This was also really interesting because this match took like an hour 20, and it looked like it was gonna be like a 50-minute match from like this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Blaze starting Bianco, Schmidt starting Rico, kind of your just generic splits. Blaze getting 5 enemies, Schmidt getting birds and Pinna, and then Blaze ended up just like bailing out of Pinna for some reason, questionably. And then Schmidt got 10 yellow buttons, got 12 level shines, went and stole 7 enemy blues. Now, unfortunately, Schmidt left Pinna 5 from the back coverless too long because they did finish Pinna 4. They literally just needed to go do Pinna 5 from the back coverless while Blaze was like in Delfino doing a bunch of Delfino stuff right now. But ultimately, that just got left up too long. So Blaze takes 5 reds. Schmidt goes and takes 4 unique bosses. Blaze comes and swoops in Pinna 5 from the back coverless, which is a really easy like closeout for Schmidt to finish that row after winning 12 level shines. Against a faster player, mind you. Blaze is a very fast individual in any percent. I believe they have a 117 as of right now, so
Something like that.
very speedy for
But
a
I remember at
new
this
bingo
point,
player.
I remember at this point or a little later, I don't remember. Smith was in a position of having like the option to choose a goal,
Yeah, Schmidt getting 8 Serena from there,
and that was amazing.
3 blue trades, Blaze finishing out 3 rockets, and then like this point from 5, this right here, 5 from 3. This was like a big race for like a good like 10 minutes of the match, like 5 to 10 minutes of the match. This 5 from 3 race was really big, and it became a really good goal to take for Schmidt. Blaze ended up winning 26 shines, and then Schmidt closing out 7 shines and secrets. Schmidt has 2 goals in 5 rows, and one of which is already closed out. So Schmidt has 2 goals in 4 rows and just needs 1 goal in 3 of them to win.
Yeah.
And it was like really hard for Blaze to defend that at this point in time. Didn't have the surrender progress, so that one's out. And then it kind of just like, so Schmidt finishes 18 Serena. So 1 point for Schmidt. Blaze ends up doing Gelato hundreds and 100 coin shine in a secret at this point, which I believe Blaze had 80 coins when Schmidt made the decision to go do this. And then Blaze finished the 100 coin shine and clicked it when grabbing the shine when Schmidt was at 80 coins.
Wow.
Just to give you a frame of reference of how long it took for Blaze to finish out that shine. So it was a good waste of time for Schmidt for Blaze of wasting Schmidt's time. But ultimately it just wasn't enough. Blaze finishing out 9 Delfino, but Schmidt committing to Bianco Shadow Mario a little bit more than Blaze did. They were close in Bianco, I believe only by like half a shine or so, both taking some deaths in Bianco 6. But with winning Bianco Shadow Mario, Schmidt already had 7 pipes basically out of Serena, so just needed to go finish that up real quick and claiming the victory. But this match was really interesting just from a row control perspective because of like what Schmidt did in the mid game to kind of set up a lot for this end goal and board perspective.
I think it was a pretty good match from Schmidt.
And I think Blaze was also in a really good position to win early on as well, or
Yeah.
at least get a strong position, but end up just giving up Pinna a little too early and then working on these Delfinos and pipes and reds when they just didn't need to, but that's also just part of learning bingo. And I think in the future they will be able to course correct from these kind of decisions and be able to play as strong, if not stronger than their opponent. So
No, yeah, I like the game plan of Schmidt. Honestly, like Schmidt play like I remember this guy. It was like a style of row control, like having set up for a lot of rows.
Yep.
Taking goals from your opponent. That makes all the game more interesting in row control, honestly. And Schmidt did pretty well. I think I was very happy. When I saw Schmidt win, was very.
Yeah, it was a good match. Good match overall from both players. I really liked it. And then the number one highlight match of the week goes to Libre versus Jukatox in Invasion. Jukatox taking the victory 13-11. This match was really close, just even from the start. So Libre opted to start 100 Coin Shine in a boss episode, and Rico won. Juka opted to start Turbo in Bianco. Libre ended up taking just a little bit too long. Was really close to finishing out, though. And then also ended up finishing out, which will be important for later. But Juka getting the Turbo Click in Bianco, then moving on to go do Rico 100s of her own, which then Libre is now kind of stuck in this column 1, which like isn't the end of the world with Rico. Rico hidden, boss rematch, already has 100s done. So Juka, getting 2 rockets with Bianco, Rico, just standard setup. Libre getting Rico hidden, 3 blue trades, 2 gelato hiddens, while Juka comes back with 20 Bianco blues. And this was all fine, setting up for totals, episodes, bosses, secrets. Both players are doing that really well here. Juka finishing out 45 totals to defend that. Libre getting 7 linked pairs. Juka then kind of like blocks off this column 3 like access with 3 fruit ladies, because now it's like I gotta commit really hard to 5 secrets, 5 bosses, or what episode 8 to get across. That's annoying for both players. So that was I think that was a good block here to go do that. Because then they can also go across to 3 secrets right after, which is a huge take on this side of the board from over here. Because Libre doesn't have like good clicks anymore, like fast clicks relatively speaking in their base, which they do end up getting boss rematch here in Rico. So it was just like Libre kind of got stalled a little too much with column 1 into column 2 a little bit too much. I'm like stumbling over my words, but because of that, Juka kind of got this goal for, I wouldn't say free, but it was like not good for Libre to lose that goal.
Yeah, the position of Libre with the column 2 was a little weird. But was weird the position at the beginning. I think having the 100 coin shines in a boss shine lost, having 3 secrets was a little weird.
Yeah.
I think Libre could do the 3 secrets, but Yuka played very brilliant.
I think they
taking
had
the
Gelato and maybe either Bianca 3 or Pin or 2 done at that point, but they still needed to do boss rematch, which gives you Rico 4, but yeah. End up just not being able to click it. Juka clicking 9 episodes. It's a safety click in column 4. Libre then proceeds to go do Goldbirds into boss shines into Eel, I believe. Yeah, well, Juka finishes out 5 secrets, and then this play right here, the 7 bluebirds, was like really weird from Juka because she could have just pushed 5 boss shines instead of 5 secrets, and that would have been a better play to block Libre. But she ended up just like committing really hard to these bluebirds because Libre couldn't click boss shines until Libre clicks both goldbirds. So that was an interesting section of like this part of the match where Libre like had like now like got back into it because of this.
Yeah.
And then 5 from 3 goes Libre's way with clicking Eel. Wins 26 shines. Also wins 5 hiddens because Juka started going for 5 hiddens at this point after like seeing all these clicks, which was kind of weird because you can see Rico hidden, you can see Gelato hiddens, you can see both goldbirds. That right there is 4 hiddens in a row on the board. So they just needed to pick up one more, which is what they did. So it's like neck and neck. It's getting really close. Both players opt to do 300 coins, which is just an insane call to me. Juka ended up winning that out just by like half a hundreds, but was ultimately like ignoring blues and lives. And then while Juka was grinding out lives, Libre went and did Rico 8 for one episode 8, and then was starting to work on 80 totals. But unfortunately, ended up over delaying episode 8, and then Juka finished out Bianco 8 for the victory. Had Libre clicked before Juka did, they were like tied in blues. It would have been a 80 totals race at the end. But this card was like really, really balanced, all things considered, I would say, because like
that was a good invasion, a good card for invasion.
Yeah, I would say good card for invasion. Like, it wasn't like I would prefer column 5 over column 1 any day here, but it's not like column 1 was like unwinnable by like any stretch of the imagination. Like, it was like you can very much play out of this and still be fine. You just have to do a little bit more work in setting up. Which Libre like had this potential win con. It was just ultimately ended up overdelaying episode 8 just by just a little too much, unfortunately. So that is all the matches of week 2. That was a lot of talk. So now we can kind of talk about
week 3.
Previewing week 3 and standings.
Ooh, edition. Wow. Yeah, let's go. Game.
So, coming up, we have Peaches versus Dex in row control. That's going to be a good match.
That match will be amazing.
We have JJ versus Rasmus, which got rescheduled to this Friday. That's going to be a good match. JJ is currently the number 1 on the standings, but Rasmus is very good. They're currently number 3. They have taken down MrYhatoh before in Invasion, so it's going to be a good match. We have
Rasmus is a pretty good player.
Me versus Peaches. It's going to be Division 2 champs of different seasons going head-to-head for the first time in an official tournament match. I've scrimmed Peaches twice, and I've lost twice. So
yeah, but you are the pro player of having a good route and winning.
We will see. It's an invasion. I don't like invasion, but knock on wood, I guess. I have not lost a tournament invasion match as of yet, even through season 3 and 4. I am
They're invincible.
3-0. I think, in Invasion, so we'll see if that continues or if Peaches will shut me down to victory. But that's going to be a close match, I hope. Tober versus Mason in Lockout. That's going to be a good match to watch. Tober is a longtime bingo player, very good, as well as Mason, longtime bingo player, very good. Both at a similar skill level, I would say. Mason might be a little bit more up to par than Tober. Tober may be a little bit more rusty still, shaking off some of that rust, even though it's week 3. But close match nonetheless. Despin versus Mason in row control. I just played Despin in a row control match last night, and that was a 3-2 to Despin, very close, which I could have won. Not bragging, but I could have won that. But Despin is a scary opponent because Mason is definitely, I would say, favored in row control. I think Mason's best format is row control, so Despin does have his work cut out for him to claim the victory here. Bonus match of the week, we got Bredgos versus Juka Talks. This was not initially scheduled, but Bredgos, being a homie, opted to play Juka since she wanted to play and did not officially sign up, but we got that match going. So that's going to be happening in row control, which Bredgos is a known row control disliker. But I believe in Bread.
I believe also in Bread. I also.
And then this is, in my opinion, going to be just based on the names, the best matchup of the week. I don't know if it'll be the best match of the week, but the best matchup of the week is Despin versus Embouchure in Draft.
For sure, yeah. Also, I really like Draft. I think Draft is a pretty good format. Those both players will be amazing.
Ambo is very good at logically thinking things through in their routes. Despin is just very fast and a very solid player overall. I did take a win over them in Draft last week, but they may have taken that to heart and will now use that to their advantage over Ombo. Going to be very close nonetheless. I really like this matchup. After that, we have Game Stable versus Bread Ghost in Invasion, which Invasion, but Bread likes Invasion. Game is slightly favored over Bread right now, but I think Bread can also take the victory in this. Has not won against Game Stable to my knowledge, but they have come close multiple times, and they are going to eventually win.
Like the same. I think they have like the same level of. They can show sometimes that they are both pretty good because Game Stable has a huge big brain plays and stuff. Very good can also do big replays, so yeah, will be a good match, I think.
After that, we have Earthside versus Tanuki Mario. This is also a pretty interesting matchup. Earthside, new to the league. Tanuki, a comeback from Season 3. Both players aiming for their first ever tournament victory match, or tournament match that ends in a victory. So we'll be seeing if it's going to be Earthside, the Season 4 joiner, or if it's going to be Tanuki Mario, who's come back from Season 3. That's going to be a good match to watch as well. I look forward to that in Lockout, which is just plain raw routing skill and a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
So these players are pretty similarly speedy, I would say. I think Earthside's a bit more speedy than Tanuki Mario, but Tanuki Mario, I think, has better routes than Earthside based on what I've seen so far. So it's going to be speed versus routing, which is always a fun matchup in Lockout. I really like Lockout because of that. After that, October versus Derp Space in Draft. Another good matchup here. A lot of good matchups in general this season. Just a lot of players that are very close in skill that could potentially just beat one another on any given day. I believe Derp is currently on a no-loss streak. They have not lost a single match yet in Season 4.
For now, yeah.
For now, so we'll see if they continue up their win streak.
Or October can do the bingo bongo win.
Yep, and take down Derp. Right after that, we got Libre versus Dingamon in Row Control. Dingamon also, I believe, on a not losing streak. They have not lost a single match this season as of yet. And I believe they have gained the most amount of ELO from the start. They've jumped quite a number of points, which we can review here in just a few moments. And then rounding out the week, we have Dingamon versus Tanuki Mario in Lockout. I believe Dingamon is heavily favored for this match in terms of routing capabilities.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a fewer matches this week, but still a lot of good matchups overall to see, in my opinion. Take a look at the current standings on the boards. JJ still topping the boards, 1,600 ELO, and well ahead of everyone else. Down in the 1,200 section, we have Despin falling down into the 1,200s, Rasmus, myself, Peaches down in 11s, and then Dex and Popo, which I guess I can announce this, but Popo has opted to drop out from Season 4 due to various things. So they will end their run at just over 1,000 ELO, which is a pretty good rating. Then comes the terrifying 900 section. A lot of players are in this section. We have Reed, Ombo, who was up here in the 1,000 rated, but lost some points due to the forfeit to Popo. So they'll be gaining some points back for sure soon enough. Tober taking 2 points over Mason right now, followed by 3 points over MrYhatoh here. And onwards down, we have Sighted Williams on a downward trend, followed by Derp on an upward trend. Game Stabled and Bird Ghost very close in skill. elo points. They have only a 10-point margin right now, so going to be a very close match right here. Libre at the 600s, and Elias, Jukatok, Dingamon rounding out the 500 era. Then down towards the end of our standings, we have Schmidt, Blaze, Darkman, Google Cheese, Earthside, and Tanuki Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gifted this image. Hopefully it shows up relatively well on stream with the cropping. You can see
It is pretty good.
some stats here provided by MD Mason. This shows the current record, the rank of everyone, current record, elo start, elo change, all that fun stuff. Just some stats for stream to kind of chew on here. Something I want to really... a few things I would like to point out. So, as mentioned, down here at number 19, Dingamon has a elo change of 147 from the start of the season, which is the greatest gain of any player, or actually, excuse me, the second greatest gain. And they're currently at 507. They have the greatest gain of the current week, though, gaining 54, which is, now that I'm re-looking at this, tied with Dirt, gaining 54 this week, and has the greatest elo change of 151 elo points, starting from 625. They are currently at 776. On the... I just ignored this section. Dex actually has the greatest positive this week because of 2 matches. Man, I'm like forgetting everything. So yeah, Dex ended up gaining 110 points for their 2 victories in week 2 over Mason and Tober, with a season change of 59 points from the start. I've risen 107 points for my 2 wins. Despin dropped 69 points for their loss to me. Some other drops, you can see Ombo, Tober, Mason, and Yato both dropping, or all of those players dropping this week due to their losses.
What's sad?
Notably, I believe Libre has lost the most points from the beginning of the season. They have lost 117 elo points, starting at 720. And they're currently at 603. Just having 2 rough losses in a row. 1 to Bread Ghost and 1 to
both was
Jupitox.
close. I think both of the losses of Libra was close. So.
Yep. CS Derp 2-0, Peaches 2-0, Dingamon is 3-0, and that is it. Oh, Darkman's also 2-0 in the season right now. They have not suffered a loss yet.
Oh, go Darkman.
Ombo is 1-0, but I mean, so is Rasmus. So, not counting people who have only played 1 match thus far. Technically, Ombo is 1-1 if you count the forfeit, but this streak does not technically count that forfeit in the record section. So yeah, Tober and Derp with big gains. Tober moving up 4 spots on the board. Derp moving up 5. We have some changes down here in the middle and lower section. Some +2s, +1s. Some of these are due to the dropout of Popo. And then we have some drops. Mason and Sid, they have both dropped down 4 spots. Yato overall has gained a spot from the start of the season.
Only because of the
of the dropout,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so current divisions we're kind of looking at, even though we're still early in the season, previewing week 3 of season 4, excuse me.
Yes.
Currently, right now, in contention for Division 1, we have JJ, Despin, RSW, Deathline, Peaches, and Dex. And then from there, people who are potentially playing for Division 1, but also might end up being in Division 2. We have Reed, Ambusher, Tober, and Mason. Right now, currently slotted for a Division 2 finish, or entry, we have Yato, Sid, Derp, game stabled. And then players looking at between Division 2 and Division 3, we have Bread Ghost, Libre, Elias, and Juketox, with the remainder of the leaderboards of Dingamon, Schmidt, Blaze, Darkman, Google Cheese, Earthide, and Tanuki looking at a Division 3 for the playoffs. So yeah, overall, good week 2, I think.
Yeah, pretty good. With a lot of lore.
With a lot of lore. This was lore week plus invasion week. Actually, no, it was lore week plus not lockout week, since everyone did not ban lockout week 1. Everyone banned invasion week 1, so now everyone had to play invasion or draft or control. So
Yeah. But this week is more like even. If you see the matches, the format
yep.
are like more balanced. It's not like only invasion. It's like a little invasion, a little lookout,
Yep.
flow control,
Row control,
draft.
row control, walkout, some invasion here and there, a little bit, a couple of drafts, a couple of walkouts. So, but yeah, I think that is going to be the end of our talk show here for week 2. Unless there's any other comments you have, Yado, about the week or the preview of week 3.
No, we commented that a lot.
Yeah. So, unless we
I
have a
think the-
raid target.
No, wait. The next week will be the middle of the season.
I
So
believe we are
within
playing 6 weeks in the main
week?
season. So this week 3 will be
middle.
the done of the first half. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think will be very interesting the standing after this week.
Yep. I look
See
forward
what
to it.
happen.
So yeah, please join us back here on the TB Decided channel, but possibly Sunshine Community on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific for Peaches versus Dex. That is the first match of the week in Row Control, followed by a whole bunch more. You can view more at sms.bingo at any time, and also in the Discord. So I think we are done here. I don't know if we have a raid target. Someone, maybe.
We can route. We can. We can raid B.
Sure, why not?
Okay, Dex, do your work as a mod. Dex, you're here.
So yeah, thanks everyone so much for watching. Join us again next week at Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will be reviewing week 3 and previewing week 4. Until then, please stay tuned for more bingo gaming action on Sunshine Community.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.